Very good evening, everyone. I'm Anand Prakash Mishra from Jindal Global Law School, OP Jindal Global University, and greetings from Sonipat, from our campus. Welcome to this very special edition of JGLS Young Scholars Colloquium. This particular episode is special because none other than our founding Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dr. C. Raj Kumar, who is also the founding Dean of Jindal Global Law School, is the chair for this session, this special episode. We started JGLS Young Scholars Colloquium in the COVID time in 2021, and we did 12 episodes that invited 50 plus alumni and students of Jindal Global Law School from different parts of the world. Our alumni joined us from the United States, from UK, from Canada, from Germany, from United Arab Emirates, from Singapore. And in India, they joined us from Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, and even smaller cities like Farrukhabad in UP and Muzaffarpur and Bettiah in Bihar, and almost from around the world. They joined us from Australia, from New South Wales, from London, from almost all over. And I'm so delighted now. This is the second season of JGLS Young Scholars Colloquium in progress, with an amazing panel with me, including one of our first batch alumni, Neelam Singh, who is 2009-12 LLB alumnus, who is an advocate on record in the Supreme Court of India, and also an LLM graduate from Jindal Global Law School. We have Radhika, who is a BA LLB honors graduate from Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and pursued an LLM degree at Jindal Global Law School. We have Anushna, who is again our 5-year law graduate from JGLS, who went to Cornell Law School, studied LLM at Cornell, and now she's an incoming associate in a leading US law firm, joining us from New York today. We have our student panelist, Harshita Agrawal, who is joining us from Kolkata. And Harshita is not just a 4th-year LLB student, but also a popular YouTuber and a young entrepreneur also, I should say. And of course, we have our founding Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dr. C. Raj Kumar. I will like to invite the chair for this colloquium, this session, Professor Dr. C. Raj Kumar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Anand. And I'm so delighted to see you and, of course, our wonderful alumni and also our students who are present here. This Young Scholars Colloquium has been the vision of Professor Anand Prakash Mishra. And I'm so delighted that we've already completed one season with over 50 plus alumni and also students participating in it. We have, of course, brought the second edition to for all the viewers. And this second edition is now in its second episode. And this episode is particularly special, not because of my presence, which Anand was very kind to tell, but it is special because of some of the most outstanding and unique set of alumni who are present here. Let me begin by saying that the theme of this particular session was focusing on women in law. At a time when issues surrounding gender has been at the forefront of debates and discussions surrounding the legal profession, but also around the world, at a time when the Indian judiciary has been criticized, not just in India, but also in other parts of the world, for having a very marginal representation of women, at a time when women continue to face numerous challenges in all professions. I do believe that OP Jindal Global University and Jindal Global Law School is at the forefront when it comes to seeking innovations, promoting diversity, and recognizing pluralism as a part of institutional building. I'm happy to report that as a university, we have over 50% students who are women and over 52% faculty members who are women. In some ways, the very focus of women in law ought to be a subject matter for discussion at various levels. And we want to showcase and discuss this among some of our outstanding alumni, some of whom happen to be women as well. So with those introductory remarks, I want to begin this conversation. We have with us, as Anand mentioned, 4 distinguished alumni, each of them having made significant contributions. And let me begin this conversation initially with both Neelam and Radhika. Let me start with Neelam. Neelam, I know that you are a hardcore Jindalite. You studied at the Vidya Devi Jindal School in Hisar, which is your schooling, and then you wanted more of Jindal. You ended up coming to Jindal for your undergrad, for your law degree, and then even that was not enough. You ended up doing a master's degree. But what I really want you to talk about is a bit of your journey. But what will be very interesting is that, unlike many other students of your generation, you took a break after your master's degree, almost a break before you entered the profession, and then you came into law. So tell us a bit about your state of mind at that time. What was the motivations, reasons for that break, and then ultimately what made you to enter into the study of law, and what mattered to you most at that time?
Thank you. First of all, good evening, everyone. And thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity to me to speak about my journey and share my experiences with everyone here. So in 2003, I finished my first master's degree. And after that, I got married. I wasn't a very good student initially in my school days. And I was just an average and studied just for the sake of studying. I wasn't motivated enough. Probably the circumstances were such, or environment was such, that I wasn't even, motivated enough to study or take up any profession. So I got married, and then I was a homemaker. But then when I it got really monotonous after some time, just running home and doing nothing stimulating for your mind. And then I was looking for doing something. I didn't know what to do. And then I heard that Jindal University is opening in my neighborhood, just 500 meters away from my home. And Jindal, I know, is a name in education, is a huge name. I can trust them because I had my schooling from Jindal. So the moment I got this opportunity, I just grabbed it. And I was lucky, one of the luckiest students, that I got 100% scholarship as well to study here. So that was the motivation. And when I enrolled, I was a little reluctant. All the students are going to be younger than me because I had a huge break, and whether I'll be able to give my best. So I had to put in extra effort, but the environment over there was so, I can say it was a new university. So everybody was really excited. Everybody was thrilled and excited. And the faculty was passionate about teaching. The background of the students, they were coming from different backgrounds. So bringing different perspectives to the classroom, it made the education system very enjoyable. And this is the first time I actually enjoyed studying and gave it my 100%. And my effort was recognized by this faculty. They pushed me. They really encouraged me all through my journey. And I graduated with the silver medal. So that shows that how much motivation that the university has given me through this journey. And it was not an easy task because I was a mother of a 2-year-old child at that point of time. So, but I can't hear you, sir. You're muted.
Yeah, thank you, Neelam. I was about to come back to that, Neelam, just as you talked about your family situation. So, unlike most students who were with you, you were married and you were a mother. And now that was clearly a very difficult decision for you to undertake the study, despite the kind of challenges associated with it. In fact, this is one of the heart of the problems we are facing in the legal profession. While a large number of young women join legal education and enter law schools, but as they progress in the legal profession, the number initially steadily but quite rapidly declines because of various other commitments and family responsibilities that women pretty much disproportionately, much more than men, end up undertaking. So I want you to reflect a bit about how did you navigate both as a mother, as a student at the same time, and then to enter into the legal profession with young children, and then to make a mark within the legal profession.
For this, I would really like to thank my husband, who's been immensely supportive, and he has always given me the liberty. I shouldn't have been, that there shouldn't be a need to use the word liberty, because every individual has a right to make a choice for himself or herself. But as a family unit, he gave me that much of liberty, because that he said that I'll be taking care of the child. You go ahead and fulfill your dreams. This is a very rare phenomenon in Indian system, and not just Indian system, I would say maybe across the world, because it is the women who have to, who usually stay back, take control of the family system, and sacrifice their careers. Whereas I really feel the husbands and the other family members should have equal contribution in the taking care of the family, and it shouldn't be just the women who should be expected to take care of the family as a unit. So my husband has been immensely supportive, and my child, she was so supportive, in the sense I used to tell her, Jaya, I'm working, please don't disturb me. She would not come to the room wherever I used to study, and only when she wanted to sleep, she would say, Mama, can I sleep next to you? Because I used to sit on a bed and study. She would say, Mama, can I sleep next to you? But I won't disturb you. Like, I had an amazing child at that age. Like, she was only 2, and she was really understanding. So yeah.
Well, it's a phenomenal story, because for a number of reasons. Well, obviously, you had a supporting husband and a family environment that enabled you to do that. But I still want to mention that the fact that you were ready to enter into a new academic ecosystem after having taken a break from your last study in terms of your master's degree, and then to come into a new professional environment to pursue a degree program, and then to enter into the legal profession is truly remarkable. So once again, congratulations. And I do believe that it's going to be a very inspiring story for many. I want to now quickly move to Radhika. Radhika, again, congratulations. I know that you are already working in one of the law firms based out of Delhi, where you are pursuing in Lex Start, which is a legal compliance and fundraising type of a firm. And I want to recognize the fact that you have entered into the legal profession. But tell us about your journey, because your journey is also quite remarkable. While you ended up studying law several years ago, almost due to a tragic set of family circumstances, due to the fact that your brother was detected with cancer, and you pretty much had to leave your career aspirations and ambitions, and to be part of your family, including your father and mother, to support that. And then many years later, for you to reinvent and reimagine your own study opportunity and to come into the legal profession is quite a compelling story. So tell us about your own journey.
First of all, thank you, sir, for having me and giving me this opportunity to be here today. Hi, everyone. My name is Radhika, and I started my legal journey back in 2009. I graduated from Symbiosis Law School, Pune in 2014. And as you pointed out, I'm currently working as a lawyer at Lexstart Partners, which is based out of Bombay. So after I graduated in 2014, I worked in litigation for just less than a year before I applied for my LLM, and I was sure I wanted to do my higher studies, and I applied to Boston University, where I got accepted. A couple of days after I received my offer letter, my younger brother was diagnosed with leukemia. And unfortunately, I couldn't pursue my LLM at that time, because I felt like he needed me and I wanted to give him that. I wanted to spend that time with him. So I decided my parents moved to United States in Houston for his medical treatment. And so I decided to go there with him. During my law school, I got the opportunity. I was very fortunate to work with the top law firms and institutions. At the time, I interned at the New York State Divisions of Human Rights in New York City. I did a course on international relations from Oxford University. So I was very committed and dedicated to my legal profession, and taking a break was never anticipated or thought of. But situation was at that time, it was not in our control. And so we ended up moving to Houston, where a year turned into 2, 3, and 4, 5. And unfortunately, I lost my brother in 2019 to leukemia. In that duration, that gap of 5 years, I got married. To 2020, I had my son, and I was finally in a better place. I knew that I wanted to restart my legal journey. I wanted to start my legal career again. And because there had been such a long gap, I knew I needed to brush up my skills. And that's when I applied to Jindal Global Law School for my LLM in corporate law and finance. 2020, it was a very difficult situation because I had just given birth, and it was tough to juggle my studies and a small baby at the time. But I was completely dedicated. I knew this is what I wanted to do. Also, I wasn't sure of the final. I just knew I wanted to complete my LLM, but I wasn't sure if I was actually going to enter the real world of corporate law at that time. And I want to give full credit to the faculty at Jindal Global for encouraging me to take the next step, and to pursuing not just my education, but my professional career. After I graduated in 2021, I got calls like every second, third day from a mentor, from a professor, from just keeping me on track, encouraging me, giving me opportunities to be to have some mentorship calls, or to have a one-on-one interaction with industry-based professionals. So I think that kept me motivated, and I finally decided to join a law firm. And I was fortunate enough to get a job in a firm that was doing VC and transactional funds. So it was a very tough journey. Even today, because there is such a huge age gap. So my colleagues are younger than me. And it's tough because juggling home responsibility and a child, usually you're not sometimes taken seriously. And sometimes when I have my son coming to me and I'm on a call, I have to tell him and explain to him, you have to be completely quiet, because I'm on a call. And a person who is at my age having a child would probably be in a stage where they've given 7 to 8 years in their career, and they would probably be in the liberty of cutting the meeting short or saying, I have a commitment, I need to be here. But I don't have that luxury, because I need to be taken seriously. I need to prove my worth. If my colleagues are putting in 8 hours, I have to put in 10. So that way it was very, very challenging. It still is. But of course, dedication, hard work, and like Neelam rightfully pointed out, family support was everything, even in my situation. My husband supported me, my parents supported me, and I don't come from a law background. I come from a business background. So for me, having a professional degree was something that really played a factor in ultimately pursuing a legal career. Because if I did not have a professional degree to fall back on, probably I wouldn't be doing much today. So
that's a fabulous story, Radhika. Again, absolutely inspiring. I think a lot of women in particular, but also others who may have faced personal tragedies, who may have to cut short their studies or their professional aspirations, for them to hear your story and to actually see you come back and pursue the profession back again is truly inspiring. Now, let me ask you another question, which is that, when you made those decisions at a time when most people will not be in a position to think, in a very rational manner, because clearly you made a legitimate sacrifice, a personal decision to cut short your professional aspirations. You did get admitted to a master's degree program in a leading university in the US, but all of that had to be stopped to do what you ended up doing. What were your thoughts at that time when you well, unfortunately, when your brother died, what really was in your mind when you were thinking about coming back? Now, the reason this question is important, just as Neelam did, is not everybody's situation is similar in a very linear manner. Lot of people today are put in a situation where they need to take a break. This break could be due to health reasons, personal family circumstances, personal tragedies, even their own circumstances. But then when they do take a break, legal profession, like many other professions, you kind of lose out that cycle seniority. Now, your own batchmates, for example, who graduated with symbiosis along with you, they may end up being much more senior than you were. How did you personally navigate that process?
So that's a very good question, actually. And it's a little cliche because when my son was born, I knew at that time I wanted to inculcate some habits in him that that would translate into seeing his mother work and, having a profession and hard work, dedication. I wanted to inculcate all that in him. And I think that was my biggest motivation why I decided to get back in the field of law. Having said that, it was definitely not easy. Joining a law firm was absolutely intimidating, and being taught from somebody who's much, much younger than you was a different feeling altogether. It was extremely tough. But what kept me going was the learning at Jindal, the skills that they provided me that I sometimes still use today. My fellow alumni, we are a group of 150 plus students who have now formed a WhatsApp group, and we're constantly helping each other for any legal query or any work problem that somebody is stuck with. So we're very close knit like that. So that was a big factor in helping me to look for a job and helping me sit for interviews. I think that was Jindal played a big factor in me coming back to my legal career. And when I joined the law firm, I was, like I said, I was intimidated, but I was confident because of the learning and the professors and the faculty that taught me what they did at Jindal. And they provided me with that database of lectures that I still listen to sometimes when I'm stuck at work and I have a problem. I'm really grateful for that opportunity at Jindal, and I'm really grateful for the faculty and wonderful alumni and my colleagues and fellow students who were there, and we got to learn so much from them.
Wonderful. Listen, we will come back to both of you. Stay on, but I want to congratulate both Neelam and Radhika, not only because of your accomplishments, but you have, you will inspire and have inspired so many young law students, lawyers who have taken a difficult path, unlike many others whose paths were beset with surprises and challenges, and you confronted them with a deeper sense of grit and determination. So in that sense, you remain as inspiring figures in the legal profession. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and wish you the very best. We will come back to both of you in this conversation. Let me quickly move to Anushna. I'm going to ask Anushna and then also request Anand to chip in. Anushna, you are, of course, what I would call the picture-perfect Jindal graduate, because we have the global law school, imagination. You studied at Jindal, and almost quite predictably now, you decided to study abroad. Cornell is one of our partner schools, and you completed studies at Cornell Law School. But I will still say that at a time when jobs are not easy to get in the United States, you have been able to get a job as well. So how do you see this evolution and journey? When you joined Jindal, did you think that this could be potentially your journey? What were your aspirations then, and how have they changed now?
So thank you, Professor. Good evening, everyone. It's morning for me, but I know it's evening for all our viewers. And I think I was always determined to be a lawyer, but I didn't know what kind of law I wanted to pursue. And that kept changing, and I don't think I'm in a place where what I'm going to do for the rest of my life right now, I'm still exploring. But what really helped me is the environment in Jindal. It was so competitive. People were so proactive. And that is what helped me explore more or try to gain the kind of experiences that others were gaining and learn from the experiences that others were living. So, and I think it was these kind of alumni talks where I would see other people in different countries pursuing their master's degree. And that is why I always knew that I want to finish my education first. And of course, when I was applying, I reached out to a lot of my seniors, and they helped me, they guided me about how to draft my SOP, about who all I should reach out to. And most importantly, I remember, Professor, I asked you when I was selecting my colleges, I had asked you about where I should be going. And you told me that out of all my options, Cornell was the best, and I should definitely go there. And it was a difficult decision back then because it was still COVID times, and we didn't know if we would be able to come to the United States to pursue that degree, or we would pursue it completely online. So a lot of factors came into play then. But what my seniors told me was that I should be proactive, and if I want to work there, I should start before I leave India, and I should reach out to people, and that's what I did. And I think COVID actually helped me because the US law firms were extremely, extremely busy during COVID, and they were hiring people. So you never know what plays in your favor. And because that happened that time, they were hiring, and I was almost finishing my LLM. That's how I got a job. And also when I connected with the partner at the firm that I'm working right now, she knew Jindal, and she knew Jindal had a good name because she knew a few students who had joined Columbia from Jindal. So I think the university was also a big part of where I am right now.
Great. Well, what an amazing story. Over to you, Anand.
So I will like to add few things. Neelam was our first student also to go on an exchange program for a semester exchange to Queen's University in Canada. And also one of the very few alumni to qualify Advocate on Record exam of the Supreme Court of India. So I'm very happy that she's part of this colloquium, which we call Women in Law, from Jindal Global Law School. But I'm very delighted to tell this panel and to everyone that today at Jindal Global Law School in last 3 years, for the first time in the history of law school, 58% of the students admitted in law school are women students. So we have an absolute monopoly of women candidates in the law school. This was 55% in 2021, 52% in 2020, and almost 60% this year in 22. Now, if I compare this with 2009, 10, 11, the initial batches, when Neelam, you were a student, it was not more than, say, 20 to 30% of the candidates who were women candidates. So
in my years, sir, luckily, we were actually 8 girls and 10 boys. So yeah, close to 50. It was little less than 50. In my batch, I mean, yes.
But many batches I saw, even in LLB 3-year program, where we had, say, 60 students and only 15 to 20 girls in next batches. So, but now it's like only 40% students, and it's competitive. So it's purely merit. Entrance exam merit determines admission. So the present batch, so it's a very, very positive thing. And yesterday I was reading about Rajasthan Judicial Services results. 8 out of 10 toppers are women candidates. In many ways, in fields of law and judiciary. And then I came to know that the second topper this year in the JAG exam, the Judge Advocate General exam, is a Jindal Global Law School alumni. And the boys, the male topper is a Jindal Global Law School alumni. So in the JAG, both they create separate list of men and women candidates. The first rank in men and second rank in women in the JAG exam latest this year, October JAG, are JGLS alumnus. So it's a remarkable the way women graduates are occupying positions. And I think we have been successful in this decade in equalizing in some way the women presence in legal education, if not in legal profession. And what is happening in legal education, this is going to impact the legal profession as well. And now it's time to actually take this conversation to our student panelist, Harshita Agarwal. And I will like her to share her journey from school to law school, and also about the work she is doing. Over to you, Harshita.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me. So I was more of a sports person in school, and until the 12th, I was really unsure about what I want to do. I was always confused about law or being a sports person. That's like two totally different things. And I never debated in school. I had no MUNs, I had nothing. And so when I actually joined law school, joining clubs was very difficult for me because I had nothing on my CV. And I tried, and then COVID happened. And I found myself to be lazy in the first 2 semesters because I always wanted to look for shortcuts to read judgments because there were too many judgments to read. And the lockdown happened, and I remember we had contract law that semester, and there was an Indian case that we had to read, and I couldn't find a brief of that. And so when college shut, we had this entire break. I thought of making my own website that had briefs, a compendium, a database of briefs of cases, because it was not just me, but all law students who were finding briefs, because it is practically impossible to have read all judgments that you need to read in law school. And we have like 4 to 5 law subjects, and each subject have like 70-80 cases to be read. So I took that opportunity. I made my website. I started my startup, and I also started an Instagram page. I had no intention of creating videos or being a creator on Instagram. It was just to attract attention to my website. But then COVID was a long period, and Instagram, social media content creators started popping up on Instagram, and I became one of them. And my platform actually gave me a lot of recognition, and I started doing more things, and my startup gave me a backup option, and I started doing mood courts. I started doing very good in internships. And because I'm a first generation lawyer, I never had the option of calling up my parents and asking them to get me internships. When I always saw my friends just calling their parents and be like, Mom, can you get me this internship because I'm not being able to find one? I always felt like an outsider. So it was, for me, it was always getting things done on your own and not having any source to get it from. So having my own startup really helps me understand that you can get things on your own and you don't actually need someone to do things for you. And yes, so after that, I've been doing good. My college has been good.
Great, Harshita. That's a fantastic, again, very unique story. Tell me a little bit about this entrepreneurship initiative, because what you're talking about is something that everybody is wanting to do, which is that how do we get, in short form, what happened in a particular case? There are publishing houses which do sort of case heads, and there's it's a big business that happens around the world. So in some ways, do you see a future out of it? Is it like one of those things which you believe will end when you graduate, or you want to do something more with it? share some of your thoughts on the future of that legal entrepreneurship idea.
So, sir, the startup is called Tracer Case. So it's basically, if you want to find a brief, you can just trace it to my website. Just Google it and you can trace it to my website. That is the meaning behind the name. And I am actually figuring out if I want to do a job or take this up after I graduate, because our placements will start in 6 months. I am actually thinking of a lot of expansion opportunities, and I am working with one of the deans from General Global Law School for it. And we are planning on investment opportunities, and so that the database becomes so huge that we can cover almost all cases that people need to read in law school. And then the plan is to not just cover law schools, but also extend it to law firms and independent lawyers to become their outsourcing paralegals or outsourcing research partners. And except for case briefs, I am also planning to extend my website to case analysis or case comments, because most of the time people want to write their assignments on the basis of that. And a speciality about the case briefs on my website is that it is in an IRAC format. So it is really helpful for a law student who wants to read it. And I also have a trademark to the name, and I will apply for IPR protection on the website, the briefs of the website.
Not bad. Whatever you are studying, you are actually taking it to the next level. Thank you so much. Anushna, over to you. Now, Anushna, having now you, of course, the early stage of your legal career, and it will be difficult for you to, answer a question as to where you see your future. But if I were to ask you, to what extent your education at Jindal prepared you intellectually to study an LLM program at a truly world-class law school, Ivy League institution such as Cornell, and then further prepare you to enter into the legal profession? Because many students are precisely at your stage or even earlier, making choices as to where they want to study and what they want to do in life. And they are also conscious of the kind of quality legal education that they aspire to. So share us about your own experience as to how this foundational law degree at Jindal enabled you, empowered you to do ultimately what you ended up doing in years at Cornell and in the legal profession in New York.
I think to a large extent, I really appreciate what Harshita is doing for everyone, because our curriculum was very similar to what Cornell used to follow. So the first step of integrating or understanding how professors are teaching or how you're supposed to do your readings, that was taken care of at Jindal. So like Harshita, I also used to look for many case briefs that my seniors had prepared, and more than eventually with time, more than getting to shortcuts, it was more about how to churn out the important parts of a case and how to frame all that you've learned into an answer. So I think Jindal prepared me very well to observe the material that I was studying and analyze the relevant portion and distill the relevant from the irrelevant portion. And that helped me a lot in Cornell, the grading system, the way I was taking exams, that helped me, and I was faster than others from different law schools in India, because that integration process was not as difficult. And even in law firms, I think the speed reading at Jindal, because we used to have a lot of readings and we couldn't get through all of them before a class, but we could somehow skim through the pages at least. And because there were professors who would have cold calls, you could not go unprepared to class. So I think the speed reading and to try and filter what you're supposed to do, how you can be prepared and not feel underprepared, even if you haven't invested as much time into it. That really helps me even today, because whenever I'm researching or whenever I'm drafting, everything, I can't dedicate a lot of hours to one thing, and I quickly have to switch from one field to another as I'm working from different people. So that was something that Jindal taught me really well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Anushna, for that. So let's now shift gears a bit, moving beyond your Jindal experiences. Now, four of you are outstanding lawyers. Your identity as a woman is only one part of your identity. You are essentially legal professionals, and we have a budding legal professional here in Harshita. So my question to each one of you, and it's the same question I would like all of you to respond to, is that as you look at the legal profession from the vantage point where you are, and Harshita can speak from legal education standpoint too, what do you think that the future should do to recognize the critical and important role that women play in the legal profession? And what are the kind of, let's say, structural barriers that remain there, which continue to impact adversely the possibility of women to lead and to contribute significantly to the legal profession? Now, of course, Anushna may be familiar with the similar debates happening in the United States as well, when it comes to, to what extent, gender plays a role in partnership track and things like that. But I would like you to briefly reflect on the changing dimensions of the legal profession, being conscious of the fact that each of you will have your own role and responsibility towards shaping that. Neelam, to begin with.
To start with, sir, I would like to actually, I think I'm one of those blessed people who have actually not faced discrimination or any barriers. Immediately after graduating from the law school, I entered the office of Mr. R. Venkatramani, senior advocate and the current Attorney General for India. So his office never, in fact, discriminated between any of the associates. We all treated equally, be given equal opportunities. In fact, I think sometimes he trusted women more because I think he felt that there's some special ability that women have of multitasking. So I'm actually one of those best people that who have not encountered much of difficulty in the area of my professional.
Thank you so much, Neelam. Over to you, Radhika.
Corporate world is very challenging and very cutthroat. It's very competitive. And talking from my point of view, because I do have family commitments as well, it does get a little challenging. I can say that maybe sometimes I'm not taken very seriously than my other male colleagues. The bosses will always tend to call upon my male colleagues for additional work or for additional hours to be put in. And I do understand that sometimes they are a little forgiving because they know that you do have family commitments and you need to be home at a certain hour. And we're fortunate that there is that understanding in law firms as well. As far as discrimination is concerned, I think India we're fortunate enough that there is not that much discrimination when it comes to the profession of law, because I think women are more distinguished, have access to higher education, and sometimes have proven their worth more than men. My law firm is also founded by a female. So I'm very fortunate to be working with her and at a law firm that is founded by a woman lawyer. So as far as discrimination is concerned, I think we're one of the fortunate lots that and the countries that is not facing that much discrimination when it comes to law.
Thank you very much, Radhika. In fact, for both Neelam and Radhika, I must say that, of course, I appreciate both of your positive experiences, but it is also important for us to see not only from the standpoint of active discrimination, but to what extent we are taking steps to have a more democratic, inclusive, and pluralistic profession, because sometimes these barriers need not be more, let's say, direct. There are indirect forms. In fact, Radhika very subtly explained that as well, that there are obvious challenges imposed on women when it comes to if they are in a situation where they are going to be having babies, or whether after their pregnancy for them to get back to work. If those opportunities and those matters are not taken into account in the entire career continuum, inevitably, while not consciously, but as an outcome, women tend to have let's say lesser successful career trajectories than men. And the question is to what extent the corporate legal profession and other professional endeavors are taking into account that aspect. Over to you, Anushna.
I am as lucky as Neelam is, because I did not face that discrimination here or in my former internships. And I think because everyone who started with me at this level, 15 of us started this year, and all of them are women. So there is no place to discriminate. And but I also see that, as you said, because motherhood is one time where most women take a career gap. Here, what I saw was, I just joined, and 6 months ago, one of my colleagues, one of my senior associates, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and now she's back at work. So I think corporate world should give more flexibility for people who are entering this stage in their life, and because of this strong cooperation they can get back into the cohort very soon. So it wasn't as if they stopped staffing her on deals or anything, but when she was away, people stepped in for her. And I think it's a team effort. And once you get that support, and once you're not left out, and it doesn't feel like you're restarting something that you had left long ago. It's just a break. You were sick, absent for a few days, and when you're back, you go back to all your old tasks. So I think the corporate world can help in terms of its policies, in terms of its hours, and be more flexible during a certain period for some people. And it's just easy then.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Anushna, for those very thoughtful remarks. And I think you hit it on the nail, that it's not so much about people engaged in active discrimination, a question that we all need to ask, not just in law firms, but even in universities, organizations, companies, non-governmental organizations, wherever women are employed, what kind of enabling environment and ecosystem that we are creating that will, let's say, empower women to make their own career choices and also achieve their fullest potential and recognition while pursuing those career choices. We, for one, we are very fortunate, even within Jindal, that we have been able to attract a large number of outstanding women in our faculty. And as I mentioned early on, majority of our faculty members happen to be women, and truly outstanding women who are making major contributions in teaching and research. Over to you, Harshita.
So, like the other panelists, I have also been very fortunate enough to not face anything. My family has been extremely supportive. I've never faced anything since the beginning. But there was one thing that happened with me 2 years ago when I initially started my Instagram page. So at that time, the profile picture on my Instagram page was my logo and not my face. Even though I was posting videos that had my face on it, whenever I got any requests, like questions on my DMs, people always refer to it as "Dear Sir," "Hello, Sir," "Sir, can I ask you a question?" So it was always that And at that time, there were no legal creators. I think there were 2 or 3, like in the entire community. And it was something that always kept it, was at the back of my mind was, do you not think that a woman can do this?
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating because it was not 1 or 2, it kept happening for a period of time, for a month or 2, and then it was just too much. So that is something that I faced.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's a very beautiful example, Harshita. Day in and day out, it happens. There is a unfortunate assumption that is ended up being made by people. And I think it's also about social attitudinal change that is needed and constant reinforcement through, those experiences being put out in public domain will have to be done, because yours is not a unique experience, and I'm sure others have it as well. Over to you, Anand.
So it's such a delight, I must say, out of 14 Young Scholars Colloquium. This is going to be one of the most memorable, with such a wonderful conversation from particularly the 4 women. And maybe we might do another women-in-law colloquium in future. But I'm actually delighted to tell all of you that if I look at the gold medals and silver medals and bronze medals in our law school and the university, entire university, 70% have been, almost 70% have been won by the women so far, including 22. So that is academic merit. And it's purely earned by hard work and commitment. And the same thing is being displayed in admissions also now. So I believe women in law have come a long way. The profession at the courts level, maybe at the district court and lower courts level, might need facilities and resources and support for the women lawyers. But in higher courts, in law firms, in academia, in institutions like Jindal Global Law School, in our university, even the leadership positions, academic leadership and overall leadership in university is, almost equal with women, or maybe more. So now we have another 5 to 6 minutes to go. But I will like parting remarks from everyone. And,
so before you do the parting remarks, I have one question to all of them, which I've always been wanted to ask. You've 2 of you have, although again, this is a very diverse panel. We have people who are starting in the legal profession. We have somebody in the university still, somebody who have come after a while into the profession, and somebody who has begun to make a mark, such as Neelam. Can you reflect on the fact that what is it that you hope to achieve in your future? If I were to ask you to look at a kind of a futuristic thinking about what is going to happen and what are your aspirations, let's say for the next decade, where do you see yourself, reaching the next decade? Now, of course, I'm very conscious of the fact that we can't plan everything, just as we didn't plan COVID. But it created opportunities, and all of you seem to have carved out a niche during COVID as well. But my question to you is that now, with the kind of hindsight and knowledge, expertise, skills that you have gained, if you were to charter your future in the next decade, what will be those major milestones that you want to achieve, and where do you see yourself going? Neelam.
Actually, I'm just, I would still say that, even though it's been 10 years in the profession, but I still consider myself, very, very new to the profession, in the sense that there's a lot to achieve. There's a whole, I would say that there's a name for me, which I need to carve for myself. There's a space that I need to carve for myself. It started to happen because, when I go to the course, I can hear comments from the judges who appreciate me for the effort that I put in my each and every case. There are clients who refuse to go to any other lawyer because, they even want to take me to the other law courts, like even out of Delhi. So I have started to carve that space for myself, but I want, obviously more recognition for my efforts, and obviously would want to, provide that the opportunities that I have received. I would want to provide that opportunities to young lawyers, so that I want to be able to provide that opportunity to the more lawyers. That's what I see for myself.
Thank you, Neelam. Over to you, Radhika.
So for me, I still have a long way to go. I want to become a very successful transactional lawyer. And I just want to keep going on. That's the most important. I think for women, we tend to get involved in other things, and we feel like our careers are not as important enough. And I think it's okay to just take it easy and to just skip a couple of years. So I just want to keep going on. That's primarily my aim and my goal. In the near future, maybe I want to do my PhD, hopefully. And yeah, I want to be a very successful transactional lawyer.
Fantastic. Anushna, I wanted to ask you, are you a first generation lawyer too, or you have parents who have in the legal profession?
No, I'm a first generation lawyer too.
Okay, great. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So I agree with Neelam and Radhika that I also want to be a successful lawyer, but like Neelam, I mean, Neelam's of course much senior to me and has a lot more experience, but right now I want to explore as much. I'm working on the transactional side, but I want to do arbitration, and I want a very diverse portfolio before I specialize in something and I settle for something, and so that I know every bit of it.
Great. Thank you very much, Anushna. Over to you, Harshita.
So for me, I haven't even thought about what I will do once I graduate. So a decade is too much. But one thing that I'm sure of is that I want to go to either Harvard or Yale for my LLM. So that is something that I really am looking forward to. And other than that, I want to be a criminal lawyer, but I think I just might end up being an entrepreneur to after I expand my business. So I am not quite sure, but I will just want to see as it goes.
Well, listen, this has been a fabulous conversation. We have come to the end of this program. I want to congratulate and thank 4 of our outstanding alumni, all of whom happen to be first generation lawyers whose parents are not in the legal profession. They have succeeded in the profession and are in the process of succeeding because of their sheer hard work, determination, and dedication. I want to especially thank Neelam and Radhika and Anushna and Harshita for the time that they've given to be part of this conversation. I also want to mention that their stories, each one of them, is uniquely inspiring. It has also demonstrated the possibility that by sheer commitment and a single-minded focus towards achieving the fullest potential in the legal profession, the best can be possible. And that's exactly what has happened to each one of them. I want to thank my colleague, Professor Anand Prakash Mishra, for allowing me to be an intruder into his show that he has been so successfully having for the last, for that one season. With those words, once again, thank you, Neelam, Radhika, Anushna, and Harshita. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. And we'll continue this journey every fortnight with Jindal Global Law School alumni and students.
Thank you.
Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for having us. It was an honor to be here. And I thank both Professor Raj Kumar and Professor Anand Mishra for having all of us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.